worked on Uncommon Women.
Mm-hmm. I played Carter.
And I was Muffet.
Muffet? Oh,
They called me Muffy, though.
Muffy.
Muffet was the full
Muffet.
name, and as the true, white Anglo-Saxon Protestant that they all were, she went by Muffy.
And she was good at it.
Yeah.
So what was it like to work with each other on the show?
It was actually, I think, my first time ever working with Hillary.
I think
the
it was
many
too.
years that I've been doing theater here. I think it was awesome working together, mostly because Reggie made sure this show was about the relationship that these women had together. And our first weeks of rehearsal, we didn't even open a script. It was sitting there talking about our characters and developing the characters from the beginning and from the ground up, and developing the relationships with each other. So we really got to know each other throughout that process.
Very nice. Do you remember some of the questions that she asked or discussions you had?
Well, we all kind of broke apart our characters in different ways and tried to identify with them as much as we could. I felt like you could identify with every single character in that show in some way or another. I think it was hardest for me because I had nothing in common with my character.
Yeah, and where I was concerned, it's kind of like it was also hard for me because my character, her Carter, she was quiet, she was isolated. It's like she hung out with all of these people, but even in the presence of all of these people, she was still alone. They were all off talking, laughing, joking, and she was sitting there. So it's like she was...
Or like our scene together, I'm talking directly at you with no response, and let's do this again sometime.
I know. So it's like, yeah, so she was more of a listener, not so much as an interactor. So that was a challenge for me because me personally, think I am very interactive and social. So for all of this to be going on, it was hard to just stare into space and hear them laughing at something and not to be able to look over and see what they were laughing at. I had to find like that chair in the balcony or that spot on the floor. It's like stare at it, don't move, don't smile, don't budge, just sit there.
So what are a couple of your favorite moments from the show?
Everyone's reactions afterwards.
Tell me about that.
Well, we had everything from, we had people that actually went to this college, this women's college, Mount Holyoke, show up in their college sweatshirts and woo, go Mount Holyoke. And we're so excited to be a part of it, and because it means the show meant a lot to them just because that's where the writer went. And this story was about women during that time, in that era. And I think it was very true to the time it was written in the late 70s. It was really about the feminist movement and women at that age and that blossoming period. And I don't think today it rang true with a lot of people, and a lot of people had trouble grasping it. Some people have said it was the most vulgar show of last season, which there was one swear word in the entire thing. And I just think that some of the women's things and issues just rub people the wrong way. Right. It was the first play written by this author, so it was difficult. It was more a bunch of vignettes than it was an entire story. It was random pics and memories, so you don't really get to know the women too well, but I felt like you could pull and identify with them. And I think that's where it was interesting to see what people had to say about it.
It really was an in the moment story, because like you said, it was this one school year, and like there wasn't really a plot or an arc, which some people, when they come to see a play, they expect a plot or an arc or a climax. No offense to the play, but
it fits right in this conversation.
Exactly. And that was again is something that we dealt with. Because you could absolutely, I don't want to say hate, that's a strong word, but you could not like one of the girls very much in one scene.
And not like my character at all.
And then absolutely love them in
another.
in the very next one. It's kind of like, okay, they were so mean like 5 minutes ago. Why all of a sudden now are they being nice? Not quite catching that there's probably like even a week or even a month between these two scenes.
Yeah, and I think another good part we just had so much fun backstage.
Oh, yes.
And goofing around, because I mean it was a show with women about women, and we all bonded so much. I knew a couple
in our space heaters.
Yeah. Katie Armstrong is like one of my best friends, so I got to really be involved with her, and her sister I knew, Hillary I knew, Sharon, Jessica, I knew all of them, and then we had Lainey, who was brand new to us, and we all knew each other somehow, and Jamie Churchill, but we all, I feel like, really bonded in the process, and I've never been in a show where I felt close to everyone in the cast by the time I was done. And I really did in the show. I think Reggie did a really amazing job of making sure we had that feeling of a relationship between each other.
20 years from now, what do you hope to still be taking away from the show or remembering?
I'm still going to have the friendships from it, number one. The entire experience was amazing. And I normally play my role right after that is an example. I usually play very slapsticky, like caricature characters, and this one was very opposite for me. Like that 1.5-page, 2-page monologue of my character just delving open and not knowing what she wants in the world was hard for me, and I felt like it expanded me as an actress and my ability to be able to move forward. And I always have a monologue for an audition in my back pocket.
Very nice, yes.
I'm not sure, because like it's still affecting me now, and it probably will affect me in 20 years, was just how much of a challenge that it was, because I looked at her character and I looked at the script, and then people would say, oh, what part are you playing, that guy Carter? And they would see, and they're like, oh, your part's really easy, you don't say anything. And I'm like, no, my part is very hard because I don't say anything, because she could say the 5 words, but I had to give her like reason and personality and feelings in just those 5 words. So from even this day to probably 20 years from now, unless somewhere along the way I find another character that challenges me to find somebody's inner self in 5 words. Carter's actually the hardest role I've had.
For the new year, for 2017, if you could wish PM&L and the PM&L family one thing, what would it be?
We're getting deep here.
Yeah. Just continue to have fun, I guess, which really shows, like the show if I can get my words to form properly, with Uncommon Women. Like, it was a smaller cast, we all got close, and so it's like Sam said earlier, we sort of kept that closeness. So if a time ever comes where we are in other shows together, we'll hopefully still have that closeness from this show. So hopefully the closeness of casts of shows past, present, upcoming, any bonds or any connections that you form in one cast can carry over into another, and then sort of spread out into that cast, and then just
We're a PM&L family for a reason.
yeah.
I'm gonna get a little bit different from the normal mushiness. I want us to continue pushing the envelope. I feel like Uncommon Women definitely took us outside of our comfort zone as a theater, and you could feel that backlash and that push back from people because of it. It was followed by another show that was considered to be risque for us, but it was more well received. I think especially a lot of shows about women that are for women, written by women, do push the envelope, because we aren't used to hearing about us. And I feel like if we do more of that, we'll expand ourselves as a theater and within our community.
Somebody came up to me and said, I have to ask, a group of women by yourselves, do you all really talk like that? And I'm like, yeah, you kind of be surprised the stuff that women talk about when it's just the girls.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nope.
So do you, either of you have anything additional you'd like to say before we say adieu?
I do want to just put, I don't know if you want to add this in there, but I would like to do a reminder to everybody in the theater that no matter how much of a show you don't like or don't agree with or something that you don't appreciate, I can't tell you how many times I get a member come up to me and say that Uncommon Women was the worst show that season.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's hard because we all put so much work into it and we all loved that show so much while we were doing it, and you only can do so much you can with a script. And if somebody doesn't get it, they don't get it. If it's not their cup of tea, it's not their cup of tea. But we all put our heart into it, and every show here someone puts their heart into. And I think everyone needs to remember that.
Yes.
Totally agree.
Thank you.
Yes. Throw a bit of Carter in there.
I think that's it.
Fabulous.
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 Fabu.
Fabulous.
Fabulous.